that first month we ended up doing like 50, like maybe 53, maybe like 53,000. It was a team of maybe four. It was
That's
a team of
dope.
maybe four, and then five sometimes. And
That's
at the
dope.
end of the month, I was up.
Perfect. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the S.O.C University podcast. I'm your host, Adam Duty. We got a special guest in the building today. Introduce yourself, brother.
Man, it's your favorite hustler, man. One Hustle John. What's up, man? What's up?
Wonderful, wonderful. Just in case people are not aware, this podcast is dedicated to anybody that wants to be self-made, self-paid while boosting their personal career, brand, or business. So this episode, we pretty much, how long we been talking about doing this?
Oh no, we've been talking about actually like getting the podcast together, and actually like structuring it for a minute,
Probably a minute.
But I mean, but now that everything together, things just kind of fell in line to where it kind of worked out for both of us, and then we got the setup and everything, so it's
Absolutely.
time to let it ride.
Absolutely. So this young man right here, let me not say young man, this man right here, honestly, guys, like he has a very, very interesting story. And my job is pretty much to try to bring it out of him.
Yeah,
But we've had several conversations of where he started and where he is now. And I think it's a really great story.
yeah.
So we're gonna dive into a little bit of that, and then also we're gonna dive into like where he is now as far as his business, and then where he's pretty much trying to go.
Yeah.
So let's start off like from the beginning, man. Like
Okay.
we don't have to go all the way to like childhood and stuff like that.
Okay.
But we were kind of having kind of like a conversation a little bit in the car about
Yeah.
some things that happened to you in the beginning. I don't know if you want to specifically go
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and then what changed.
Okay. Yeah. I'm touch. I'm. There's no filter. Like I'm letting it out there. I feel like everything that I've been through is for something, and I think I can help somebody out just by letting them know like what you've been through is is okay. You know, cause somebody else out there has been through what you're going through, like the
Absolutely.
same pain, the same struggles,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you know I want to be like completely transparent with my life and just putting it out there because I know that I have a story and I feel like it's my purpose to actually share it and put it out there
Absolutely.
to possibly, well, not possibly, to influence somebody. Because I mean I can just tell just by some of the stuff I put out, people hit me up and they be like, man, that's really inspiring
Yeah,
what you're saying.
for
And
sure.
it's one of the reasons why I'm even here right now.
So, John, let's start from the beginning, man. Like, right before, let's say, right before you knew you needed a change in your life, like what was going on and what was happening at that time.
Okay, so I think around that COVID time is when life really hit for me.
Okay.
Like during that COVID time is when, unlike others actually finding something to do with their time, I actually took all of my time and I put it into all negative vices.
Okay.
Like I'm smoking at this time.
So, how old were you at that time?
So at this time I'm 18.
18?
So
Okay.
I'm 18 when COVID happens, and I'm at the end of 12th grade. I'm at the end of 12th grade ish.
Okay.
So getting ready to graduate.
Okay.
Graduated in May. So if COVID that happened around, that's like 2021 is really when it was like, okay, now my life is changing.
Okay.
Cause everything else before that was systematic. It was baseball, practice, school, repeat, rinse, repeat. So I mean, I was in that system and it was okay. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But during that last senior season, everything was going just downhill for me.
Mm.
I didn't have nobody to really play with anymore. Just the game, I was losing the love for the game. I've been playing since 5 years old, playing baseball.
Wow. Okay.
So I was just losing. I was just losing the love of the game, and then after COVID happened, the game stopped for me. I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happened to be that now I'm all of a sudden now I'm smoking daily. Um,
Mm.
I'm into drinking.
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, not too much. And at that point, I'm kind of like, I'm just like, this is kind of fun. This is kind of fun. So, I mean, I'm not gonna act like it wasn't, cause I
Yeah.
mean, it was like we was having fun. So at that time, I was like, this actually costs money too.
Okay.
So I need some money for that. And it's like my bills coming up because I
Mm-hmm.
had me a nice BMW X1. So
So at 18, you had a BMW
yeah,
around that time.
yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I had a BMW,
Okay.
and it was just like it was time for me to really like really just I feel like it was time like, okay, I need some more money. I need to really get in my bag type thing.
Okay.
But during this time where I was going through all of that vices and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, I was actually praying as well for a second gift because I knew I was very, very talented
Mm-hmm.
and highly skilled in baseball.
Okay. So before we get into that, let's go back to where you were saying, as far as like you were into the vices
Yeah.
and you started drinking and stuff like that too as well. So I know me, playing sports when I was young,
Yeah.
like there's not many opportunities for us as
Right.
men of color sometimes.
Right. Right.
If you're not taught certain things, it's either like music or sports,
Right.
right? So I played baseball, I played basketball, all those different things too as well. Do you think there was a specific person or people, or were there things that changed you to go from specifically sports to let me move on to something else?
Yeah.
Because even for me, I'm not gonna lie, like watching TV, watching things, I'm like, dang, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta find something to do, which might not be the right thing
Mm-hmm.
to do in order to make that happen. So was there something specific, or do you think there was multiple things, or talk
Yeah.
about a little bit of that?
Okay, so I think to really hit it on the head is like, so as when you're young and you're in school, usually like the bad kids are usually the funniest. I don't know what that is,
Mm-hmm.
but usually like them grade schools, middle school, high school, the bad kids are the funniest.
Always, yeah.
So I love to laugh. So I love to laugh. So I found myself around the wrong people all of the time because I was searching for a good time because I didn't like school.
Got it. Okay.
So as I'm hanging around the bad kids, I mean, that's just kind of what end up happening, you know, without me even thinking that it's actually happening.
Got
So
it.
like I didn't even know at that time I was even doing anything bad until I got to this age.
Got you.
So yeah.
So it was just like a innocent influence, and what I mean by that is like you said, you didn't even really realize
Yeah.
that that was
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show, just like we talk about, like you become the people that you're around.
You do.
Period. You
You
become
do.
the people that you're around. Okay, so we go there, right? And then I know you talked about the car, and then you said you realized or you thought about a second gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. So at that time, so during this time where I'm like I'm like I gotta do something with my life. Like I need like I'm like God, I need another gift. Like I need you to give me another talent.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is when I got influenced by two guys who was young, like 19 and 20 at the time, had like the RT Chargers,
Mm.
and I'm just like, what are they doing? like what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want one of those cars, you know.
Exactly.
So I'm like, what are y'all doing? So then that is when I got introduced to uh, it's called scrubbing, and it's actually shoe cleaning, where it kind of like the guys in the middle of the mall.
Got you. Okay.
And this is when I'm like, you mean to tell me that you got almost a race car? I mean, I'm 18. A RT Charger is like kind of like a race car to me now.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
that I'm older, them race cars is foreign. They them big guys. But at that time, I'm like, how do you like you really got this off of cleaning shoes? And I'm just like, nah.
I don't know about that, man.
I'm like, nah. So I actually went to go shadow it and go see what was really going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually get an invitation to come out to, Myrtle Beach is when I actually started, experiencing going out there to really start experiencing with actually going to get money at the time.
Okay.
So before I actually went out there, I was given a script. I was given a script on what to actually say
Okay.
to be able to get sales.
Okay.
So during this, so I got the script, and I have nothing else to do but believe that this is gonna work because I'm out of options at this time. Like
Okay.
I'm out of options. I have to make something happen. I need to be something of myself because although I am doing what seems to be bad, I know that in the back of my mind I have to do something big still.
So when you say although you're doing something which seems to be bad,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? Like what are you saying?
Okay, so I'm saying like at that time, what seems to be bad is the fact that I'm smoking all the time.
Okay.
The fact that I'm being around bad people, because
Okay.
I still had high level thoughts and I still had high thinking of myself, even though I was into these things that were really self damaging, caused me to overthink,
Mm-hmm.
caused me to question where I'm at in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by that.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
Because at that time, it's just what it seems like. It just seems like this is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now my opinion is definitely like, I mean, leave them alone
Mm-hmm.
because I mean it's time to really be focused.
Okay.
But during that time, that's just what I mean by that.
Okay. Did that ever get you into more trouble than you could handle at that time?
So yeah, I wanna go into that. I wanna go into that a little bit later. But actually no, I never actually got in trouble for any kind of contraband or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that as far as dealing with drugs.
And that wasn't what I was saying, but just go ahead. I'll elaborate on it a little bit more. But go
Oh, okay.
ahead.
Yeah, like I never really got in trouble in trouble as far as like that's what I'm doing. Cause I mean, I was a young kid. I mean, if anything, I
Yeah.
was being sneaky. I might say I'm going to my friend. I was gonna go play the game, and it's just like don't nobody really know what's going on. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's COVID. If anything, everybody's worried about themselves right now.
Absolutely. Yep.
Everybody's worried about themselves. They're not. Ain't nobody really worried about. I mean, something that kind of small because life has stopped for you.
Yeah.
So it's like you're really focused on how you're about to make something happen for yourself. So that's kind of where that was in that situation.
Okay. So what I was asking, and I have to clarify like that question, meaning like, do you still see some of the things that you did back then at that time, like maybe certain habits, and you don't have to go into it specifically, whether it's like spiritually or mentally, even now with you being the person you are now, do you still feel like there are a few habits from then that you still carry with you now? And the reason why I say that is because even with me, like I feel like nobody's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's things that I could say about myself right now that I do or don't do, and you be like, "What? You do that?" Like
Yeah.
everybody has
Yeah.
things that somebody would be like, "There's no way he or she does that," or
Yeah.
they're addicted to this or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go into it specifically,
Yeah.
but do you think there's still things that you carry with you from then, even though you're who you are now?
Yeah, to answer you, I think the only thing that I may carry and that I'm really actually getting better on is where I'm placed at or like my placement. I think at that time I was always worried about am I doing the right thing? Am I like what am I doing right now? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And that's kind of like that can be a vice too. Actually
Mm-hmm.
like overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can be too much to where that voice in your head is just so loud to where you can't even get things done.
Mm.
And I think over the period of time, I'm actually like really, really working on that. And I mean, like, it's Sunday. Like today in church was the pastor really had said something that hit me. It was like, is what you're doing right now the legacy you want to leave? And in my head, I was like, yes. I was like, yes, it is. Yes, it is, because what I'm doing right now is no longer for me. When back then, when I was moving around trying to go here and here and here and clean shoes and be the best shoe cleaner and just make money for self, it wasn't working out, because this is God saying, like, it's too small for you, bro. It's too small. Like, I need everybody around you to be affected by your gifts and your skills. So
Nice.
I'm not gonna make this small thing blow up like how you think you want it to be, because even if I do make it blow up, it's still too small.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Even with that though, we don't. I think a lot of times we don't realize like the impact that those things that we've done prior to now, like the effect that it has on us at
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
Because even when you think about it, like we talked about this before, like sales,
Yeah. Yeah.
like how that sales background can help you in what you're doing now,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because, and I said this to you before too, like you do sales in everything that you
Yes.
do. Like kids,
Yes.
you have to sell to them on why they need to eat their vegetables. Like
Yep.
when you get a mate or a spouse or
Yep.
whatever, you have to in the beginning initially
Sell them.
sell them why they
Right.
should be
Yeah.
with you. Like
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
happens in general. So we don't. I know for me, like a lot of those things that happened to me, I was like, dang, I'm glad I went through those stages
Yes. Yes.
to get me to where I am now. So cool. So let's fast forward a little bit, right? So you said you're going to Myrtle Beach,
Yeah. Okay.
and then what happens going from there?
So, Myrtle Beach, I end up mastering the script, like I said before.
Okay.
And during this time where I'm studying the script, I just get thrown out there. I kind of get thrown out there with your script knowledge, and then now it's time for you to go to work. And from day one, I think I end up having maybe $295 around there in sales, and this is day one of me ever doing sales. I was
Wow.
actually a shy kind of guy. Yeah, so because I was kind of a shy guy, so me actually going out and being so like driven to make sales was kind of crazy for me. And what was even more crazy is I actually went to Myrtle Beach with $15. I went cross the whole entire state, and my dad did this on purpose.
He crazy.
Thank you, Pops. Thank you, Pops. He sent me across the states, like with $15 to my name at 18 years old
That's what's up.
during COVID. I still got computer classes, to where if you go out here, it has to
It has to
work.
work.
It has to work, because soon as we get 2 hours in, it's like I want some Zaxby's. Now, if I spend my money, now I got seven, which I end up doing. I actually end up spending money on some food. So now I got $7 and I'm going into work, and I've never even worked this job a day in my life. So I have to say the script, and I have to say it till I have enough money to even eat or do something. And I feel like that with that situation when I went to Myrtle Beach turned me into a beast. So I kind of just end up just being like a straight hustler throughout from like Myrtle Beach on. And then I mean, started off 35% commission, worked my way up to 40%, and after that I end up getting my own apartment.
Nice.
Getting my own apartment
All from that.
Yep, at 18 from shoe cleaning. What I was like what? But after I got my own apartment, that's when things took a left turn.
Changing. So, and before we get to that, like you said, shout out to his pops, man, because even he put you in a position to where, like you said, you had to succeed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's even dope for him to even believe in you like that. Like, hey, I'm gonna put my son out there, but I know he's gonna do well.
Yeah.
Like, we had this conversation again too, relating it back to me and you, our conversation. Regardless of what I have or prior to like right now in the business that I'm in, I still have to act like I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Because if I act on what I feel like I have,
Yeah.
then I would take days off and I'll be more, relaxed, So he put you in the right position to be a beast, like you said.
Yeah.
So that was really, really good. Okay, so let's go to got the apartment, 18 still?
Yeah, still 18.
Okay. How did that feel to have your apartment at that time?
I mean, yeah, when you get your own apartment at 18, I mean, you really feel on top of the world.
Yeah.
Cause from everybody's point of view, it's like you made it.
You made it.
You
Yeah.
made it, and that's what a lot of people were saying after I posted the keys. At the looking at the table, looking at the counter in the kitchen, and people start telling me like I made it, and I'm just like, ever since as soon as I like put the security deposit down, I moved in. I was like, I already was thinking like, wait, is this
Is
it?
this it?
Is this it? I was already thinking like, is this it from day one? After I made the post, it's like, this is real life now. This is real life now.
Yep.
I mean, these Instagram likes and comments at the time was not finna pay the rent. They wasn't. I mean, now like, when you get a page and you get boom, I mean, I'm pretty sure they could.
It can.
But back then, like, I mean, I'm probably at like 2,000 followers. I'm like, that ain't finna do nothing for me right now. But yeah, I moved to Myrtle Beach. I mean,
And you were living in Myrtle Beach at that time. So the apartment was in Myrtle Beach.
yep, and it was.
You definitely wildin'.
Yeah.
You wildin'.
And it was 2 months after I graduated, so it was
Dang.
June, July. So it took me 1 month of focus and locked in, being focused and locked in to really change my situation, because I was sleeping on the floor in my friend's house in Myrtle Beach. Going like Airbnb to Airbnb, sleeping in hotels and stuff like that. And then like 30 days of being focused and locked in, I got an apartment.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So when you got that apartment, right? And then you were like, is this it?
Yeah.
Did you ever like phone back home to your father or your mother and be like, I need to come back? Or did you always from then just like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here and make it work?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because I was not listening at all.
To your parents or just anybody?
Yeah, to anybody. Like, and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I'm 18 years old. I'm making like 3,000 a week. I'm like, can't nobody tell me anything.
It's good money,
right
man.
now. And I'm just like, Mom, like, I'm about to make this big move. Dad, I'm about to make this big move. My dad just like, do it, And my mom, she's really telling me like, moving is a big responsibility. You got to be careful and think about the decisions you're making. But I'm not listening to that at this time. I'm finna move out, man. I'm like, I ain't coming back. Like, and that's just kind of where I was. I wasn't listening to nobody. I wasn't trying to hear nothing what nobody had to say. Nothing. My sister, she's amazing. She was telling me like, bruh, do it. Cause I mean, that's how we are. We just like, bruh, do it. Like, if you put your mind to it, get it done.
You can
like,
do it. Yeah.
Like, we wasn't thinking about things going bad and things going wrong. Like, I'm not finna think about stuff not working. That's crazy. Why would I think about things not working out?
But for you to be 18 and even thinking like that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, even now, older adults, like they're very conservative and very negative.
Yeah.
But that just shows the type of person who you were at that time, and your thinking was maybe it wasn't all there, but it was going in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
Because people, they just so scary.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be, but for you to be 18 and do that, that's really good.
And I owe all my mindset to my upbringing. Like, I was always raised like, you're the best in this position. Cause I mean, I played baseball, so it's like when you go out there, you're the best.
Yep.
When when it's time to go at the bat, you're going to get a hit. When it's time to play your position, you're gonna play it the best. And that was kind of my upbringing. It was like you're going to be the best everywhere, and that's just what carried away even when the game stopped. So no matter what, I still had these MLB big league
Nice.
ideas and mindset. So there was no turning down from that, even if the game stopped. Because
Got
I
you.
still got places I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still so far from where I really see myself at.
Good. Okay. So you got the apartment, showing the keys and everything on social media. You say you're not listening to anybody,
Yeah.
right? And at that point, you're 18, you're still an adult, you got money. So it's not bad for you not to listen to anybody because you made a way out of nothing, right? Um, what happens after that? Like,
Yeah.
what happens after
So
that?
what happens after that is my my situation out there was okay. I'm not even a owner, but I'm making more than the owners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when one of the owners is starting to put the bug in my ear that you can be more than just a 40% worker for the company. You can own one of these.
Got
And
you.
at that time it was a franchise.
Got you.
So it's like they're telling me like, bro, you're good. You can own one of these, have your own team, sales team, in my mind, I'm like, I'm always going for the biggest level. But at that time, I was not paying attention to what was actually going on was actually good, because I'm always searching for more, for greater. So when the person who brought me onto the business is
Mm-hmm.
telling me that it's more out there, it's more money for me, because that's just what it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't getting 100% of all the money that was being brought in. I mean, I'm
Right.
hitting like $1,000 a day, like on a consistent
That's
basis,
crazy.
and shoe cleaner, and I'm just like, if there's more, I gotta try it. So I did. Left my apartment. Um, I tried to do the tenant thing. So I put a tenant in there in my old apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved.
Hmm.
I moved to Kentucky.
To run like your own
Yep. Yep.
operation. Okay.
And it wasn't 100%. It was 33%, 33%, 33%.
Why 33?
Because it was three partners. So the guy,
But wasn't that wouldn't that still be less than what you were making before? Weren't you making 40%?
I was making 40% commission.
Mm-hmm.
Not I wasn't making anything on the back end side of the business, which is the profit from the actual inventory.
Okay, got you. Okay,
So once you become a owner, you're making your commission up front,
mm-hmm.
and then you're making profit on the back end too.
Got you.
So that's where I was like, I want a taste of that.
I understand what you're saying. Okay.
And I was also sold into it too. Like we're all hungry salesmen in here, and I didn't need I wasn't realizing that I was being sold too, like, cause it was just a whole different level of salesman at that time. Cause now they're telling you can make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars
Bro, I remember those. I remember those days, but we'll go into that.
a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in Kentucky. Obviously, you've never been to Kentucky before.
Never.
The demographics is got to be definitely different.
Yep.
Um,
Lexington, Kentucky, to be exact. Right next to it was a college town. University of Kentucky is out there,
okay, got you.
and I'm just like, okay, this this situation is a bit different, but I've been playing baseball, so I've been around Caucasian and dealing with Caucasian people my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't thinking like these people wasn't finna support me. I
Mm-hmm.
just got to go hard again.
Got you.
So I just took the same mindset I had in Myrtle Beach and took it over here and started it up. Drove out there, set up. First day, we end up doing like $3,000. It was in August of 20, 21 actually.
Wow.
So from July,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it was August.
So three bands, your first day in business for yourself, pretty much.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. That first month we ended up doing like 50, like maybe 53, maybe like 53,000. It was a team of maybe four. It was
That's
a team
dope.
of maybe four, and then five sometimes. And
That's
at the
dope.
end of the month, I was up.
So were you doing it in a mall there
Yep.
in Kentucky? You were
Yep,
in a mall.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So I was in Lexington Mall.
Okay. So if that is happening, right? Me, I would have been on top of the world,
Yeah,
especially at that age.
yeah.
And I know you said things didn't always go well. What would you say would have been like the downward, not spiral, but
Yeah.
the downward action to that business? Because I mean, if I hear that, I'm like, he should still be in that business now.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying? So
after that first good month, that's when everything changed because the mall stopped. Like the foot traffic stopped.
because of COVID, or just in
I
general?
don't know. It wasn't really because of COVID. It just was a slow season. Because
Mm.
we were in Myrtle Beach, where it is a seasonal mall where all part of times of year, all around Grand Coastal Mall to be exact.
Okay.
All parts of the year is all times of the year. Excuse me. Is lit like December, January. We're in some or like because at the end of the year is really some of your best years, some of your best months in this business.
Okay.
Because I mean it's Christmas time, things like that. Summertime is very good, and we're going into August, and August is some of our best month. But during that Halloween time, and it wasn't nobody in Kentucky, Lexington to be exact, really going to the mall. So that's why it caused us to start to start to do a downward spiral because okay, we're
Mm.
sitting on the cash, like we're sitting on the cash that we have saved up.
Mm-hmm.
But after we did our split and everything, that's when one of our owners decided to start splurging. So we couldn't actually put back into the product, and that's when things started going downhill.
Okay.
Like because my life was connected to it, my emotions was connected to it, and my spirit too because I was I'm praying over this, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like I'm just but it's in too many hands, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not trying to twist the right direction. Somebody is going the other direction. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's kind of like that's when the downward spiral happened. And when I was already spending like 3,000 a month on actual rent because I'm paying $100 a night in hotels, Airbnb. It was just crazy.
Mm. So splurging, like, was the owner buying materials for the business or just for their self
No,
or
for
just whatever?
it was all for self. It was
Oh,
all
that's
for
crazy.
self. Like it was all for self. It was all
That's
for
crazy.
self. And then I knew it was bad when they started asking me for money.
So when you realize that you had to like leave that business?
So I didn't realize I had to leave that business until after I started my own shoe cleaner, which was two businesses later because so that was 33%, 33%, 33%, like I said. So to actually get out of debt,
Mm-hmm.
we had to go start another one in Dayton, Ohio.
Wow.
So now I have to go all the way up from Kentucky to Dayton, Ohio, and all that's going on in my mind is like, dang, I miss Myrtle Beach. I
Mm-hmm.
should never left. I'll be out there straight right now. Like
Yep.
I left the beach to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Crazy, but so now I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and that's when I'm starting to realize like, yeah, this not it. This not it. Like I'm in hotel rooms, cold, like literally at this point I'm crying. At
Mm-hmm.
this point I'm like my life has gone to complete. Can I cuss? Complete.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has.
That's
Like
crazy.
I'm just like I was just at a high.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm at the lowest of the lowest of the lowest. Now I'm working my way out of like a $17,000 hole.
Mm.
And it's just like you're doing this selling shoe cleaner too. So it's like I have to really get down and clean your shoes with a smile and be happy about it, knowing
Mm.
that I'm in debt. So I'm like, this is not it. Like I'm so happy on the outside, but inside it just feels like I'm just dying. Like I just want to do anything else in the world. Like I'm thinking about going back to play sports, but I'm like, if I go back to play sports, I'm still $17,000 in debt.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm like, bro, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. So we actually end up working our way out of it, and
Good.
then that's when I took my exit.
Okay. It's something you said, like, I think that was powerful when you were talking about, like, even though you were down, you said you literally had to get down and do the dirty work, like cleaning people's shoes to actually get out of that debt as being like the owner. And you said you had to have like a smile on your face, even though you knew you were 17K
Yeah.
in debt. That's, I mean, that right there is, I wouldn't say that's like the everyday struggle of a lot of people, but that should resonate with a lot of people because there's things that we have to do a lot of times, even when we don't want to.
Yeah.
Like our road as an entrepreneur is a lot of times, bro, you got to do stuff
Yeah.
that you would say, I wouldn't say we feel like it's beneath us,
Yeah.
right? But we got to do it. Like even now, I tell you my situation. Like, be honest with you, like in the business that we're in now, like I learn stuff from him all the time. I would be a fool not to. He's been in the business before me, right? But the level that I was, and I'm not saying you or anybody else in the business, I have to realize that I gotta be a good student and I gotta take steps back and I gotta learn.
Yeah.
And not always talk like I know what I'm talking about all the
Yeah.
time. So I think that was big of you to do that. That shows like a lot of maturity on your end. And even that whole part to just get there, like bro, you weren't even 20.
Yeah.
The average 18 to 20-year-old is still, hey, let me get money to eat.
Yeah.
Let me get money to eat. I don't know how to use the bus or do whatever, but you going state to state, starting a business, failing, and then working your way out of it. I think
Yes.
that's dope, man.
Yes.
Okay, so you get out of the business,
I get
and
out of
then
the franchise.
the
I
franchise.
get out of the franchise business. So now this is when I take I really want to take a role where I'm 100% into something. So during my exit, I end up actually saving like $1,500 before I actually moved back, not to Myrtle Beach, but back home because I was like, I don't want to go back to Myrtle Beach
Okay,
because those are the same owners out there.
got it. The ones that you were dealing with before.
Exactly. Those are the same
Okay.
owners out there. So I can't go back out there and work. Even though I did get a spot out there,
Hmm.
I was like, I'm leaving it.
Okay.
I'm leaving it.
So you get back home, and it's almost like you got to start all over again.
Yes, I had yes. So now when I get back, so now when I get back, I'm 19. I'm 19. So when I get back, I'm like, all right, I'll restart. But I restarted with the clothing brand on my mind now. So that's when I started a Buntu Apparel,
Nice.
which is now a Buntu Fit.
Wonderful.
But I started it back in Ohio, and I had to use this. So when I get back to Georgia,
Hmm.
my everybody around my parents, they're like, he's still working, because you cannot sit around my house and do nothing.
Hmm.
You can't. It's just not possible because everybody else is working.
He's doing something. So before you go into more into that, I want to get into a little bit of your mindset at that time, and then I want to see other people's reactions to you at that time. But did you feel like you failed at that time, or you felt like you accomplished some things? Like, what was your mindset like as soon as you like got back? Besides, like, hey, I need to get back into
Yeah.
it. Like, was there some feelings that you felt like you were feeling at that time?
Yeah. I think I want to compare it to almost like sports.
Hmm.
So I think every single business, I felt like I was in like the playoffs. So I'm like, I'm in the playoffs.
Win or go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm in the playoffs, but I'm knowing that if I don't win the championship, I know that I got another season.
Okay.
So that's where my mind was at, because I know, life is going to keep going no matter if this moment right here has just failed me.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that tomorrow is going to be here and next week is going to be here, and I can't sit here with this L on me. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I just can't let it sit here and marinate, even though it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. I just can't stay down. I cannot stay down because I want to be up. Because I know what it's like to feel up.
Got you.
And I'm like, no matter what, no matter how many times I fail, I have to get to that feeling. Because waking up and doing what you want to do, waking up and just doing what you want to do is just like, it's a great feeling, and
It is.
but even if you do work with somebody, like even if you do work for someone, yo off day when you know you got money and you could just do whatever, like I know that, like, it's a good feeling for people, and I just know I want to get back to that feeling. I want to get back to that feeling, and I'm not done. Like Kobe, like the job is not finished, because like my parents, they're still in the same situation. Like I know that, like, this is more. I know it's more.
Got you. That's dope. Okay. So you're there and you're back and you said that you can't sit still at the house. They're not gonna allow you to do that because everybody's doing something.
Yep.
You come up with the clothing brand,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Briefly, what was the idea or mindset behind the brand and the name?
So Ubuntu apparel means abundance and hustle. As long as you hustle for the things that you want in life, you can achieve abundance.
Dope.
That was my pitch. That was my pitch. That was how I was going to get my shirt on your body. Cause I know how sales work. I need to have a pitch that represents me. So I know cuz I actually made it when I was broken. So I know I need to have a mindset of abundance, and I know I'm a hustler. So I collabed them both together, and I threw it on the shirt, and I was like, I'm about to go outside and make something of myself.
Dope.
Like, so
That's dope.
that's just what it was. So I was like, I gotta do something.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do something. So I knew with how sales work, I need to have a strong pitch. So I created the pitch, and I just ran with it.
I've talked to a lot of people about how they or why they started something. And that was probably the most realist, or to me, the most fascinating or the best way somebody came up with something. No, it just seemed real. Like a lot of people like, oh yeah, I came up because of this and this, I
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of what you said, I just kept hearing the word abundance and broken.
Yeah.
And you came up with it from things that happened previous to that
Yes.
to where you are
Yes.
at that time. That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's definitely dope.
Yeah. And I'm in, like, just, it's kind of like almost like having a note card, and it's like a positive affirmation on it. That's kind of how the brand was for me, because I just went through so much hurt with these businesses. So I need to have a brand that at least helps me feel sane to when I talk about it, because it's really almost trauma.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
almost business trauma in a way.
yeah.
So I'm like this brand is helping. It's like kind of like the business band-aid. That's what it kind of was.
All right, so you were pretty much talking about like your clothing line being a business band-aid.
Yeah.
So do you feel like it was a specific thing that happened? Like was it one thing that happened that caused you to create that? Or was it multiple things that happened? Because you said it came from pain pretty much.
Yeah. It it was multiple L's in all aspects. Kind of like with friendships failing, business relationships failing, trust in myself, because I'm thinking that this is gonna work out, but it wasn't just depending on me for it to work out. So it had a lot of factors and why I call it that,
Okay.
because it was a lot of things into it on why it actually what was hurting because it was somebody at this young age telling me that it's so much opportunity and it just goes the complete direction. Like I've never experienced that. So that's why I call it that, because the amount of hurt that it actually like put me through, going through those failures over and over and over again.
Okay. So that happens with the business, right? And that happens with the clothing line too. What was like your next steps after that?
So my clothing line is still my clothing line was still doing my clothing line is still doing good.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to say good. I'll say okay.
Okay.
Like it's breathing, you know.
Okay.
It has a pulse,
Okay.
you know. But so the next thing after the clothing line was I was running the clothing line for a second, and then I actually end up meeting a chemist. I end up meeting a chemist who said I can create your own shoe cleaner for you. So instead of going through the franchises, this was like, okay.
Wait, what? Okay, keep going. Keep going. What?
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if this is like a sign, like, okay, you was doing the shoe cleaner, you got so good at it. Now, magically, I meet a chemist that my dad actually ended up cutting his hair,
Okay.
and he gets to talking about how he can create my own shoe cleaner, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? Do I actually do it or do I not? I sat on it for like 3 days, but then I looked at my current situation. I was like, I do remember how it was cleaning shoes. Like, I mean, I do miss it, so I tried it. That was maybe like a 3 month period.
Okay.
That was like a 3 month period where I actually went through an actual real launch, like a real launch as far as taking the sample, being like, okay, it works. And we launched it at Essence Fest. Essence Fest is like a big festival. Big, I mean, it's majority women, but Essence Fest is in New Orleans.
Okay.
So we couldn't get a booth in New Orleans because those booths was around like anywhere above 5,000.
Wow.
To like get a kiosk in there.
Okay.
And we was like, we just gonna go outside and set up. Like we're going to set up outside of Essence Fest. So we were on the steps of Essence Fest cleaning shoes.
Wow.
Selling shoe cleaner. Just had the signs up, had some buckets, and we just launched it outside. No booth needed, nothing. Just went outside and just got to hustling. I mean, we got so much respect for it, and everybody was showing love. If not on the way in, on the way out. Yeah, so it was real good, but I couldn't expand how I wanted to. I ended up getting in Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was just stagnant. It wasn't nothing going on.
So you ended up getting in the mall. But before that, I want to go back to what you said as far as like you actually setting up on the stairs.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's very powerful because like a lot of us, even for myself, like a lot of us think things have to be perfect before we start something or jump out there and do it, right?
Yeah.
But you know, everybody's heard you miss 100% of the shots that you don't shoot.
Exactly.
For you to just not having a booth stop you, it just speaks like to your determination and your willingness to, you know, pretty much get it done.
Yeah.
Again, at a young age, I mean, this was before the man was what, 20 years old?
Yeah, before I was 20. It
That's
and, you know,
that's great.
as in sales, you kind of get this proven formula that if I keep on asking people about my business, that eventually is gonna work out. So that was the drive to pretty much set up without needing a booth, because I know if I talk to enough people that I'm going to get sales.
Yep.
Essence Fest is pretty big, so
Yep.
it has to work.
Law of averages.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So Essence Fest happens and you're going there, and of course you said it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, but you found a way to get it done. So were you riding like a high after that, or did you go back down? Like, what was your mindset after that happened?
So okay, so after Essence Fest, or like really during Essence Fest, the craziest thing ended up happening. One of my guys that I brought with me end up actually getting locked up in New Orleans, and
Of course.
I'm just like, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
This not okay. So crazy story is, so he ends up actually catching a seizure on the way.
Wow.
Getting he ended up getting a seizure on the way to actually getting booked, and they took him to the hospital. They took him to the hospital, and he actually ended up getting released from the hospital and back on the street.
Wow.
So he actually the only time he had was just by himself in like the in like the, not the hotel. I don't know why I said that. In in the hospital. So after he came back, we was like a couple days. I mean, like 2 days had went by. We're leaving the next day. It's crunch time. We
Mm-hmm.
like, man, when is he coming back? Because we still gotta work. So that put our numbers down. So in my head, I'm like, at this point, I'm just doing something to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really. This doesn't seem good. It doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing something to get some money just so I can continue to keep surviving at this
Yeah.
point. So I'm just using what I already know how to do to just continue to just almost like just keep drifting. Like I'm just like just drifting. Not really thinking too much about anything, but I'm just going through the motions of everything, working day in, day out, just going through the motions. And I'm just like, I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I mean, at that point, I'm just kind of like, well, I know I'll make a little bit of money here. I'll be able to pay this. I'll just keep doing this until something else comes
Mm-hmm.
into fruition for me.
So that even when you were like talking about it right now, your whole emotion like changed when you
Yeah,
started talking about that point.
yeah.
Um, at any point in time, like what we were talking about, did you ever feel like you were at like a real dark or low time?
Yeah,
You know,
my lowest time was the the lowest my I got a few low moments
one that you can remember that you feel like was very like significant to
in business or
you,
in life. Like in
like
business.
this journey during business in general, just in general.
Um, yeah, my lowest I've ever been was, it's not even the lowest I've been, but this is just very very low. I was in
Okay.
Ohio. I was in Ohio, and I had to. My business partner, actually ended up giving me a ride from Georgia 8 hours away.
Okay.
His car ended up getting stolen, so he had to drop me off at the kiosk 8 hours away by myself to just hold it down.
Wow.
So I'm in Dayton, Ohio. Don't know anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to run this booth by myself from morning to nighttime with no car,
Wow.
and all I got is my phone to get a Uber and
Mm-hmm.
my phone to get like an Airbnb.
Wow.
And at this point, I'm like, I'm in this by myself right now. I'm 8 hours away. My mind is going everywhere. I'm I'm getting weak at this point. So
Mm.
I'm like, so then I'm looking at Airbnbs. I'm not even taking into note that it's a small town, so I have to hurry up and book good rooms earlier in the day. But I'm like, I ain't made my money earlier in the day,
Got it.
so I gotta book them later. But when I book them later, I end up having to get this room with this. It was a shared room that had. I got videos and all of this. It was a shared room where I was in this house that just stunk. It
Mm-hmm.
was dog hair.
Airbnb
Yeah,
was like, oh
yeah,
man.
yeah, it was on Airbnb. It was like dog hair, You can hear the dog barking. And then when I went to the bathroom to take a shower, it was the dog had just got washed in the bath.
Oh, that's
So
crazy.
it was like dirt. And then I just was like, I just broke down. I'm like, this is low. This is low. When I can't even go to sleep because I'm just like in and out of sleep every 10 minutes. And I know I got to be back at the booth to run it at like 9 in the morning.
That's crazy.
So yeah, like just getting through that period, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
So, and you know, times like those are great for what shapes you to be the person you are now, like we talked about before. You know, without those like times where you're tested, you won't have those
Yeah.
battle scars. You
Right.
know, the average person, again, the average person at that age ain't dealing with nothing close to that, right? So I didn't even think he was going through that much.
Yeah. It's it's even more painful when you know that it's all self-inflicted. Cause like I literally put myself in every situation that caused me pain. Like I did it. I did it to myself, and that's what's also the scary part too. Because you think like you're about to go for a dream. You don't think you're about to go the opposite direction. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that was kind of like, oh, like this is life, you know? Because I mean, like I said before, I was playing baseball from like 5 to 18. I feel like I was just now going into the world and experiencing myself as a person and really, building my own personality. Because I mean, I was just yelling out baseball calls all day and stuff like that, doing team talk. It was all sportsy. I didn't really know I could have any more conversation besides talking about sports.
Right. Okay.
So it was just like this is life outside of that, and it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward to, like you said, after you transition out of that business, right? And you felt like there was, I guess you said you felt like there was something you haven't fulfilled yet.
Yeah.
Because you really spoke on like there was something bigger for you.
Yep.
You know, there's a couple of things that you kept saying.
Yep.
So let's like touch up on that.
Yeah.
Like, first off, what did you mean by there is something bigger for you? Because that can mean a lot of different things to other people, you know?
Okay. Yeah. That's a great way to put it because I'm saying something bigger because if you pay attention to every single step that I made, it seemed like it was a better opportunity than the last one, just based upon the levels or maybe the amount of money or just the opportunity, the reach. It was always more and more and more and more and more. But the deeper it got, the more risk it involved as well. But I mean by that because my why is for my family, for the people around me. It's like I want to be. I mean, as a kid, I was really taught like I was really like, I want to go to the league and I want to have like the $1 million contract for my family so they can be chill. They don't gotta work and that was kind of like that's kind of like the same mentality that I have now. Like I want the things that I do. I want the things that I do to be for my people.
Right. For sure.
I want to set something up for my children. When it's that time. Not saying that I don't want to do that anytime soon.
Don't.
But
Yep.
but when it's that time, I definitely want to have it there for them.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely want to be the the pillar as far as like, okay, I made something of myself. Like I want to leave like a legacy for real.
Yeah.
And I think every move that I make has to be that big.
Yeah, a lot of those things that we go through, again, it teaches us about the person that we are now, you know. And of course, if you wouldn't have went through all those things, you wouldn't be moving to the path where you're going to in the future, you know. So and it really only makes you stronger. I just commend you though, because it's, bro, like going through stuff like that, most people would
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm finna
Yeah.
just go the traditional route,
Yeah.
play it safe.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too high, too low. I just be in the middle and I can just get by. So that's good. Okay. So let's take it to where you are now,
Okay.
right? And the path of where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, and like the things that you got going for you right now.
Okay. Yeah. So currently, right now, everything that I have going on is is so is so detrimental to my past and future. So
Mm.
I think so right now it's crazy how this even happened. So right now I'm actually in the office that I never thought I was going to be in, like no office or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing public interviews. I started doing public interviews because when I looked at my past, I was like, is it something I'm not knowing?
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing public interviews and start talking to people who are people who are rich, people who are wealthy, people who have stuff going for them.
Mm-hmm.
And not all the time did I speak to just people who have, materialistic values.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I had homeless conversations as well. I wanted to get so many point of views to where I could implement and take in from everything and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then let that play out in my life and take that from them, and then I start putting it out.
Got it.
So as I was doing that, I was like, my biggest video had like 62,000 views,
Wow.
and I actually walked on somebody. I walked up to somebody's car. I asked them like, what did they do? How did they be able to afford it?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I need to do this again. So I end up going to Caffeine and Octane,
Okay.
and then that's where I met this guy named Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulled up Aston Martin just sounding all crazy. And I was like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know what kind of car it was at the time. I just knew it sounded way different than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
But when he pulled up, he was like, it just kind of felt like you could just feel the energy. Like you could feel like he feel like he the man.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go talk to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go like, cause what's in him? What's in him? Why is he pulling up like that?
Mm-hmm.
So then I had my cameraman with me, and then I said, man, hey, we finna go do this interview right now. Now I ain't even usually people are not that inviting.
Mm-hmm.
So I real passively asked for an interview, like bro, you mind, like I was real soft spoken too, like, cause it's just like this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This a lot. So I'm like, you mind if I get an interview? And he was like, sure, man, yeah, sure. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cool. So we going through the interview. He get to talking about how he does wholesale real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's a beautiful career. Cause everybody that I talked to, I spoke to rappers, I've talked to Bitcoin miners, but never ever did I say anybody's career was actually interesting. And I kind of like that just kind of like just came out of me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just subconsciously just came out. So
Mm.
so then as he started talking, he get to talking about mentorship, and I just shot the shot like, how much you'll charge me for mentorship?
Mm.
Then he was like, we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it. Like I'm like, we gonna talk about it.
Of course.
It's like, what that mean? We gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. Like I'm thinking, I'm probably finna get an invoice for a couple thousand,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not finna be able to pay that at the time, cause this was only like maybe last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then so a couple days go by, I'm in my room, I'm sitting like, I need to make something happen. I'm like, I go back to the interview, I'm like, man, Alex, man, what's up? Like what's up with it? Like
Mm-hmm.
like he was just like, he was like, treat me to lunch. He was like, treat me to lunch, and we'll like we could talk.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, I'm thinking like about that post that's like dinner with Jay-Z or 500.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, let me take the dinner with Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
but because I need to see, I need to learn something. So we actually end up going to sit down. Real open guy. Just was giving me all of all of the signs that I needed, that he was interested in actually like seeing me as a person, and that was
Mm-hmm.
just like with all the he could be doing anything in the world. He could be doing anything in the world, and then I was like, man, like this guy is unlike all the other guys that I done met before.
Mm-hmm.
Like just because like I met you, Ashton Martin, don't even need me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even need me. Like you like, and I'm like, man, like I want to learn what you do. I want to learn what you do. That's kind of like where it was after I got like the day in the life after we ate lunch and everything, and I'm just like, yeah, like this is it. I didn't see it as an opportunity for just me. I seen it as an opportunity for everybody that's at home that's counting on me to do something.
Got it.
So I was just like, I'm finna just get in and learn it. So right now, I've been doing wholesale real estate, still creating content, and I'm still running a Buntle Fit because it's the rebrand of a Buntle Apparel because I did get into fitness because I needed to get my body right, get myself right. Just because I feel like when I get myself right and when I treat myself right,
Mm-hmm.
everybody around me treats me a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
that's kind of where I'm at currently.
So what would you say is like the biggest thing? Because you talked about a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
right? So kind of putting you on the spot, what would you say is the biggest thing that you like learned from yourself, that you learned about yourself that maybe you use to this day, like out of everything that happened?
Yeah. I learned from when I study something or when I really want to learn something, I do it the best around out of everybody.
Hmm.
Like I noticed that when I'm really dedicated to something and I want to learn and I want to get it,
Mm-hmm.
it may take a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
but I become the best.
Right.
And it's just like that's what I've learned from myself over the years
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always holding myself to a high standard on
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned. I learned that like if I want to do something, I can do it. Like no matter what it is.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, cause I went from cleaning shoes, making all-star plays, hitting home runs,
Mm-hmm.
to making thousands in sales a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like I showed myself that there's nothing that I can't do if I put my mind to it.
Absolutely. So what would be your advice to people that are like in that 18 to like 25 range that don't specifically know like what they want to do, what direction that they want to go, right? What would be like your advice to them to start moving towards their path or go towards the path of where they want to be?
Okay, well, I feel like all of us we have God-given gifts.
Mm-hmm.
We have God-given gifts. We have God-given experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and if we can tie them in, and we can also look at your nature as well, like where's your upbringing, like how can you use that gift that you have and amplify it,
Mm-hmm.
because there's money and there's dollars in your gifts,
Mm-hmm.
like no matter what it is, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're a drawer, even if it's not master drawing, even if you have like you get like a little tick, like find what makes you kind of like tick a little bit, that just brings you a little bit of like, oh, I'm doing this even though I'm doing it for nothing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like when I got to talking to people, when I got to just being out and smiling and getting the energy off people, that's what kind of was like ticking for me.
Got
And
you.
then it just kind of started just slowly generating income. And I think with other people, they need to focus on what they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can lock in on and find what you're good at and build a business around what you're good at.
Wonderful. It's dope, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I
Definitely a
appreciate you.
lot, man. And one thing, there's something that I like to do, and I'm gonna put you on the spot, right? So this would be like you talking to your future self,
Okay.
like 5 years down the road.
Okay.
Like, and obviously you don't know
Yeah.
the person that you're gonna be at that time, but what would you say to yourself? Like you'll be able to look back at
Yeah.
this. Like what would you say to yourself 5 years down the road? So that's just you, not to me, to you,
It's just to me, and I'm talking. Okay.
to yourself.
Everything is a learning moment, but what you do with the lesson can either create greatness or failures. I think that's what I want to say.
Wonderful. Tell them where they can find the clothing brand, your IG, all of that stuff.
So yeah, you can find my fitness brand at Ubuntu Fit, and you can find me at 1hustlejohn on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, y'all, we out. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you.